Yeah, so time came for our daughter to be born. Yeah, there was a bit of negligence, which led to I getting some health complications. I got a clot in my lungs. They call it pulmonary embolism. And I also got an infection known as sepsis. After we went home, I think after a number of days, like 3 to 4 days, I developed some body weakness, a bit of confusion, which is sort of like hallucinations,
Okay.
And that is when now we knew things were not okay. So by the time I was being taken to hospital, it was quite critical.
So as we journey now with the second pregnancy, doctors, gynaes are very sensitive on us. Yeah? They want to ensure that everything is to the details. Yeah? So one of the things that our gynae had told us is that for the next pregnancy, God willing, we'll have to manage it differently. Yeah? So the gynae tells us when you conceive, we'll have to do blood thinners for the better part of the pregnancy.
Hello there, my name is Frida Wasonga and I am so happy to host this parenting conversation today. And I am here with a very, very beautiful couple, friends from campus, who I have watched their journey, of course, into marriage and now as parents, and they have a beautiful story they would like to share with us. And before we start, I would like to remind you who is watching to please subscribe to my channel and hit the notification button so that you receive notifications every time I upload a new video. I'm shooting this video at Grace Hill Mission Church. It is a church in Thogoto, Kikuyu, Kiambu County. And here we believe that God writes beautiful stories. If you're looking for a church and you're in these environs, please feel free to come and join the community of believers here, and you will not regret it. So at this juncture, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to invite my guests of the day so that they can introduce themselves. Karibuni to the show.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, please introduce yourselves.
Great, thank you. My name is Sam Mutua. I'm excited to be part of this parenting conversation today. We've been married for 9 years now, and God has blessed us with 3 children. We have a daughter, we also have a son, and a third born who is a daughter turning 6 months. I want to give my wife a chance to also introduce herself.
Thank you. Hi everyone, my name is Jane Mutua. I am born again. I love the Lord so much. I'm so excited to be here just to have this conversation. I am a teacher by profession. I teach mathematics and business studies. Thank you, Frida, for having us.
Yeah. And Sam, what do you do?
Oh yes, I'm also a teacher and a school administrator. Yes, that's what I do.
Okay. Karibuni sana to the show. You're looking so nice.
Thank
so
you.
Okay. So please take us back to when you got married and how life was before babies.
So we got married in 2016, December. And of course it was a very exciting season. Having gone through a dating journey, courtship journey, and finally getting to tie the knot. So it was a humble beginning for us. It was something we were looking forward to. And by God's grace, we have enjoyed. In fact, we're turning 9 years at the end of this year, God willing. So life was good. It was a time for us to get to know each other more. I mean, like now with courting, everyone would go to their own house, apart from maybe the time would have the dates and all that. So now this is marriage where you're in each other's space at all the time. So I would say life before children was time for us to sort of like create a harmony, I keep feeling like it was a good time for us to know how to handle conflicts, how to adjust now to being in each other's space consistently forever, without a break actually, because hata mkikosana and all that, you have to be in the same house. So there was a bit of friction, especially the first and second year. I feel like we got a momentum towards the third year. Now I would say there was an aspect of stability. The realization that we are here to stay.
No one is going nowhere.
No one is going nowhere. and I keep feeling like, the way you practice for a song, like now I know you're in the praise team, and you know you do a lot of practice.
Yeah.
I feel like it was more of that,
Yeah.
and I'm grateful to God that by His mercy, we continued cultivating, and we've continued to do it until now. But I feel by the time our children now are coming, we were a stable couple. Especially the emotional part. Yeah, some of those petty things like the socks were left wherever. I mean, there were no things that were really bothering me, you know. Yeah, so I'm grateful. By the time kids were coming, I would say we were somewhere.
How was it for you, Sam?
It was exciting, of course, having waited and pursued. Finally, this amazing girl was within my confines, saying goodbye to bachelor hustles, figuring out what to eat. I still remember exciting seasons, doing laundry together, cooking together, very exciting seasons. Because a lot of time together.
And if you refuse to cook, she gets mad.
Well, yeah. If I'm just sitting in the living room alone and she's in the kitchen, I mean, you feel awkward.
Yeah.
But at least now I have an excuse. I'm staying with the children. So yeah. So it was quite exciting, which is a good space. I feel that also gave us enough time to, as Jane says, to connect, to bond, to course gel, get to understand each other better. You know, there's the theory part. Despite even going through the premarital classes, you have to really experience the staying together part.
Yeah.
So that was a beautiful space. Yeah, there are still times we miss it because now there are things we could do then that we can't do. Yeah. Times we want to go out, come back a bit late. Yeah. But now responsibilities are there. Yeah? We have to wait maybe it's another 20 years plus before we get to that space. But really a nice space. I'll encourage any couple in that space to really enjoy it and maximize that space also.
That's true.
Yes.
It's actually reversible.
Yeah. Because even 20 years from now, you'll have other things that are
that are in our mind and space.
Okay, and then now you feel ready to have a baby.
Yeah, we feel ready to have a baby, and then I think I thought it would be obvious that the baby would come when at that time when now we want the baby, I thought it would be so obvious, but that didn't happen for us. Yeah, so of course we had done a family planning method. It's something we were using because we had agreed would stay around 2 years before the baby. Now that was our plan. Yeah, but now what happened is after we removed the contraceptive, we realized that now the conceiving was not happening. It was not obvious. So we had now to seek some fertility medication, which towards the end of, I think we tried for almost 1 year, and the miracle happened. Yeah, and that is when our firstborn was conceived. Yeah, so it was not that automatic, getting the baby. I mean, we were almost actually panicking. We were actually panicking, but God came through and the miracle happened.
I would like to hear for Sam, how was that waiting period, that 1 year?
Well, waiting is never easy. Of course, because we felt we are sort of in control of the situation, which rarely is. But of course, prayed about it. Of course, being believers. Of course, journeying with each other in that space. Trusting God, and really surrendering this whole concept of parenting to God, knowing that God is going to answer at His own season and timing. Of course, some bit of anxiety here and there. You're not very sure what friends and family are thinking.
I actually was to ask, did they tell you directly on your face that we are waiting?
Well, not really. It never came out directly. Although I remember there's a time we had gone to my shags for some event, and some ladies made some comments, which you're feeling, there's a lot of pressure, you know. But God gave us peace. That's what I would say in that season. We had amazing support, even from the gyna we were journeying with. And I mean, God's time is the best. And I was so excited when she finally called and told me, we are expecting. A lot of joy.
And maybe just to add, at that time, which I felt like it's something important maybe to mention, is that, you see, I mentioned we had to seek medical advice, because I feel there could be couples out there who are yes, trusting God for the miracle, and it's true, God performs miracles, but I also agree that God uses people, and especially the medics, because I feel like if we just been in that space where we didn't seek any medical intervention, I don't think anything would have happened, because actually what had happened is that my tubes were partially blocked, so I had to do a certain test known as HSG. So it's a test that they apply some pressure and it sort of like unblocks the tubes, because you know, like if you have blocked tubes, you can't conceive. And I remember the conversation I had with the gyna was, if we do this HSG test and it doesn't work, it will be good for your husband to come and also check on him. So it's a journey that is important for a couple to be together in it, and of course both the lady and the man to actually be ready, you know, just to be checked on, because it doesn't mean that any time conception is not happening, the problem is on the lady's side. At times it can also be the man. Yeah, so thankfully the same month that I did the test, the HSD test, is the same month that I conceived.
Wow.
Yeah, so I believe the prayer part and also helping the doctors to identify what the problem was, I believe that is how God actually worked it out. Yeah.
So how do they identify the blocked tubes?
So what happened is that, like now for me, ovulation had also stopped, meaning I was not receiving my periods. So what the doctor did, he had first to boost. She had to boost the ovulation process. So I did some medication. There are some medication that are there that sort of like helps to boost the ovulation. I know the medics can understand whatever I'm saying more. Yeah, so with the medication, the ovulation started. I started receiving my periods, but I was still not conceiving. So the next step, and I believe that's how doctors work, the next step now they were like, you're ovulating, but conception is still not happening. So let's check on your tubes. So the doctor said, the gyna sends you to the lab and you're checked. Because you know, for conception, the sonographer, because you know, for conception to happen, there's quite a lot that happens in our bodies, and I believe it's the working of God. Yeah, so part of it is checking the tubes. You know, are the tubes okay? Yeah, so since the ovulation was happening, then she needed to check whether the tubes were fine, and for sure they realized that they were partially blocked. So with the HSG, that managed to unblock the tubes, and that is how the miracle now happened, and I was able to conceive. So now my husband didn't need to come for a checkup.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, and then now you get pregnant?
Yeah, now I got pregnant, and the fact that I had done quite a number of fertility drugs, again the doctor was like, it's sort of like a tricky pregnancy in a way. So the first 3 months I was quite on, I was on some medication and all that. I remember if we could do some injections, I think once every month or twice every month, just to ensure that a miscarriage doesn't happen.
They affect
the fertility
hormones.
drugs, because of the hormones. Yes, because I had been on hormonal drugs, just to sort of like, and you remember I talked of the family planning method. Yeah, so that is why now there was the sort of like correcting, we were correcting the effects of the contraceptive, exactly.
So it's the contraceptive.
It's a contraceptive that had caused that mess, because now after removing it, that is when my periods disappeared.
Yeah.
Then you see you can't conceive if you're not ovulating.
Yes.
So it was a journey now of correcting sort of like the effects that I had gotten through the contraceptive. Yeah, which as you've mentioned, it is the effects of the hormones. So now I have conceived, so we can't just, I mean, there are more measures that need to be taken. And part of the measures that needed to be taken is ensuring that the hormones are balanced. So that's why I used to get the injections. But we did that for only 3 months, and then now she was like, we are now confident the pregnancy is now okay. Yeah, your body is stable and all that. Yeah, so the pregnancy was okay. Yeah, it was a good journey. Yeah, a few effects here and there. I couldn't stand his perfume. It's a perfume that I used to enjoy, and all of a sudden I would tell you, please spray yourself as you go out, and I would make sure every time I'm going to the living room, his perfume would actually be kept in the living room.
I thought he would carry it in his bag.
No, he did. Well, at least he would leave early. So by the time now I was waking up, I would find at least the sprays. The fragrance has left the house. Then in the evening, he would make sure he comes and changes immediately. Oh my goodness, it was quite an interesting time. And that's why we were saying that the space, especially before kids come, it's a very important season, because now when pregnancy happens and some of those effects come, like now I couldn't also stand the smell of fried onion. Yeah, you know, for some time I took noodles, I think, because I couldn't fry food, and then he would eat at work. I mean, we had to adjust for some time. I couldn't eat meat. I mean, there was quite a lot.
Yeah.
Which now it's a first pregnancy, so now he's
Yeah.
wondering, what's up with my wife? All of a sudden, we'll have to go through all this. Yeah, I used to enjoy a lot of sugar cane.
Sugar cane, oh yeah, that one. We just bought one and he's like, stop.
I need to buy.
I need to buy one.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was quite an interesting space. Yeah, so the pregnancy was okay.
It was okay.
It was
Sam,
good.
okay, Sam, how was that for you? The hospital visits, the bills, accompanying her, or did you at some point feel like you just go alone?
No, it was really exciting. Of course, the season he had been waiting for.
Yeah.
And of course, God providing some bit of expenses here and there to do the medications. It was really exciting journeying with her,
Yeah.
see the transformation, both emotionally and physically.
Yeah.
It was really a nice season. Doing the checkups, of course, you are there anticipating the gender. We are like, is it a boy, is it a girl?
Yeah.
And of course, sharing our expectations together. Would you like a girl? Would you like a boy as a firstborn? Yeah. It was really exciting.
Yeah.
We could not stop counting that very soon we're going to be parents.
Yeah.
There'll be a little one in our space.
Yeah.
Really exciting season.
Yeah. You didn't feel like changing your perfume?
Not really. We just agreed I can do it on the corridor as I go. Yeah. And then it was seasonal. Yeah. It was seasonal. Yeah.
Okay.
Part of adjusting, really.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, and then now it comes the time that you need to go and deliver.
Yeah. So now I was due in August 2019. Yeah, so time came, and I remember my husband had gone for a wedding in Kitui, so he came back and he took me to hospital. Yeah, so our birth story is quite long, but maybe just to cut it short, is time came for our daughter to be born. Yeah, there was a bit of negligence, which led to I getting some health complications. I got a clot in my lungs. They call it pulmonary embolism. And I also got an infection known as sepsis. Yeah, and we tried addressing the negligence issue, but by the time I was being discharged, I seemed to be okay, and my baby also seemed to be fine. So being a normal delivery, after 2 days we were discharged. But now after we went home, I think after a number of days, like 3 to 4 days, I developed some body weakness, a bit of confusion, which is sort of like hallucinations,
Okay.
And that is when now we knew things were not okay. So by the time I was being taken to hospital, it was quite critical. I had to be on oxygen, then it was an ICU case. Then while in the ICU, my hand changed, and the part of my hand turned black, which they call gangrene. I couldn't feel my fingers. It started affecting my left leg, so my toes also turned black. So at this point, I have a clot, so the doctors are trying to manage the clot, because clots can be quite fatal if they're not handled well. And again, it's just by God's mercy, because I remember on transition in the ambulance, I remember the driver, my husband tells me, the driver telling him that we have to move very slowly because we don't want the clot to dislodge. Clots can dislodge, by the way. Now this one was in the lungs, so it can dislodge to the brain, and I mean it can be quite fatal. But God, in His mercies, held the clot. I arrived in hospital and I started getting blood thinners. Clots are treated by some medication known as blood thinners because it's an issue of clotting, so they sort of like thin the blood. Yeah, but now what was making it serious was the fact now the clot is the lungs, then here is the hand, here is the toes, the toes, and then the fact that they could tell the effect was sort of like spreading. So they were somehow confident that somehow my hand, my fingers would gain blood, because the reason why they were turning black is there was short supply of blood. And what we have never known up to now is whether it's the clot in the lungs that caused blood not to flow on the left side, or it was the sepsis. Because when we do our research, both can actually lead to gangrene. Yeah, so it was clear that they had not to do the amputation.
Wait fast.
Yes. I'm really trying to summarize the story.
I don't want you to summarize so much. Of course, I know it should be a summary.
Yeah, okay.
Let me hear. What did you notice at home
At home.
that made you to go to hospital?
Okay, so now we get home. Of course, as a mother, you need to wake up, breastfeed your child.
Yeah.
So I think I only left the bedroom once. Once or twice. The other days I kept saying I just want to be in bed. And then the baby would cry because I didn't have the energy to breastfeed her. So some kept wondering, what's up that all of a sudden I don't want to breastfeed the child. But it's because I had that body weakness.
Yeah.
And then being the first child, we thought it's just the normal fatigue.
Or maybe
It's
it's
just
the body adjusting.
the body adjusting. Yeah. And then for some reason, our mothers had come in hospital and they were to come now the following weekend. But there are times I keep feeling that if someone came during that weekend, someone who had gotten a baby before, maybe they would have sensed that things were not okay.
Right, yeah.
But now for us being the first time, we just thought it's the normal fatigue, So the fatigue, and then he says that there are times he could look at me while sleeping and he could tell like I'm struggling to breathe.
Okay.
That there was a bit of, maybe he'll share that. But I think what caused him now make the decision was when he looked at my left hand and realized that my fingers had turned pale. Now he was like, "Hey, we need to check. You need to be checked." And then the other thing was the confusion. I started saying, "Oh, our house girl is not in the house. Our house girl left. She didn't even ask for permission."
Yet she's in the house.
She's in the house.
Yeah.
And then I think at one of the nights, the same night actually, at 3 a.m. I told him I want yogurt. So he used to stay near a quick mat. So I kept telling him I want him to go to quick mat and get me yogurt. He's like, "It's 3 a.m. How come you want yogurt at this time?"
Yeah.
Yeah, he was like, "This girl is losing it." No, that's the
Yeah.
following day. That's when very early in the morning he took me to hospital. But maybe
So how old is the baby?
the baby is turning 6.
No, that at that
At
point.
that time she was days old. She was almost a week.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was almost
Before
a
turning
week.
a week,
She
yes,
was
yes.
almost turning a week.
Yeah. So okay, Sam.
Yeah, so the baby comes, we are excited,
Yeah.
we live in the hospital. The confusing part was that by the time we are being discharged, of course they do the checks.
Yeah.
She's okay. Check the baby is fine.
Yeah.
So we leave hospital. We didn't stay long in hospital. So we get home, adjusting, breastfeeding the baby. Remember, it's the first child.
Yeah.
The baby is learning to breastfeed.
To latch, yeah.
We're also learning how to feed the baby. Yeah?
Yeah.
So a lot of learning space.
Yeah.
But of course, what I noticed was the body weakness part. She would really want to leave the bedroom, want to feed there, bring food there in the bedroom, stay with the child. So for us, we are like, okay, probably it's just adjusting. And should be okay. And again, there were no like any serious signs of any danger per se. Yeah?
Yeah.
So as she says, when I noticed that bit of some mental confusion, when I looked at the hand, I think I felt, hey, there's something wrong. At first, I thought actually it's the rings that maybe, have become smaller,
Yeah.
she had gained some weight.
Yeah.
We actually even tried cutting them
We actually
because they
cut
could
them.
not come out.
Oh.
They could not come out, yeah?
Yeah.
So I felt probably they are pressing some vein or something,
Yeah.
That could be the reason why the fingers were turning pale, yeah?
Yeah.
So we tried to remove them, but then we said, no, let's just get some checkups to ascertain that everything is really okay.
Yeah.
So the next morning we said, okay, let's go for a checkup. We lived near some health facility there.
Yeah.
So we said, it's just a walking distance. You better go and be checked. You'd rather be told you're fine and come back home.
Exactly.
So we told the nanny, all right, give us about 10 minutes, just a simple checkup. We are coming back. So we were staying in an apartment on that floor. We had to go down the stairs. But shockingly now, when we got to the ground floor, she started losing energy. Yeah? I remember she could actually not even walk to the car. I had to lift her, get her to the car, rush to the hospital.
Yeah.
They're doing so many checks. Then we got a referral. The center we went to felt, this looks like something complicated.
Yeah.
We find ourselves in Kenyatta Hospital the same day.
Okay.
So that time we have called everyone, we called our parents. My parents were actually coming that Sunday to come and see the baby, which turned different stories.
Yeah.
They had to tell mom, go and buy naan. She didn't understand what is naan because there are days there was no naan.
Yeah. Because you were leaving for 10 minutes.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we find ourselves in hospital, and the 10 minutes turned into more than a month in the hospital.
Yeah.
So you didn't go back.
I didn't
We didn't go back.
Yeah.
We didn't go back. Yeah.
Go back.
So all these complications, things are happening.
Yeah.
She's in hospital. She has to go to ICU. We have a child at home.
So what is in your mind? Okay, first of all, lifting her to the car.
Yeah.
Then you go to the hospital, they are running tests, they are shaking their heads
Yeah.
and referring you to Kenyatta.
Yeah.
How are you in your mind?
Of course, a lot of panic
Yeah.
because we thought this is just a simple checkup.
Yeah.
Then doctors are giving you forms written very urgent, telling you run to this place, run to this place.
Yeah.
I think it really hit me now when finally got ourselves in Kenyatta, and I saw them taking her to the resuscitation room.
What?
So we are like, hey, we are being resuscitated again, and what's really happening here?
Yeah.
So that's when I realized that things were really challenging, yeah? So we navigated that space. It was tricky getting a hospital. We had to get an ICU admission. It was difficult. There were several deposits that we had been told to place, even from some hospitals. So even getting an ICU bed really was a miracle in itself. Yeah?
Yeah.
So we got some nice hospital, finally, where she was admitted. You know, we left the house that Sunday at about 9 a.m.
Yeah.
I was coming back the next day on Monday at about 5 a.m. So you don't even have energy to eat. You've just been running.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Even I'm just imagining how you're even talking to yourself.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, that was quite long. I
Yeah.
can say it was really emotionally draining.
Yeah.
So here you are, things have changed so fast. A season of celebration now turns to be a very tense situation. Yeah?
Yeah.
But God took us through. Let me tell you, we had a lot of support from family. Our mothers came, camped in our house.
Yeah.
They would take turns to take care of the child.
Wow.
And that sort of gave us some stability. We said, I mean, if they had raised us, there's no way they would not be able to figure out this young one.
Yeah.
But really difficult situation.
Yeah.
A tough welcome into parenting,
Yeah.
baptism by fire, really. Yeah?
Learning on your
Yes,
toes.
learning on your toes,
Yeah.
and a lot of complications. Jane is at the hospital.
So when she was getting resuscitated,
Yeah.
she was like unconscious.
Not really. Interestingly, she was conscious. In fact, at some point, she even tried to remove the oxygen mask. I'm telling you, Nari, turn this thing, you know. She seemed not to see a big deal.
Yeah.
While you see, I could tell, things here,
Yeah.
you're not really resuscitated when you're fine.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that really sent some shivers. But I can tell you, God upheld us through that tough season. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so we stay in hospital for a month
Yeah.
plus. Complications have reduced now. The biggest step was now doing the amputation, which was a difficult step for us. We had to go through some bit of counseling just to prepare psychologically for what would be ahead. And finally, the day happened. You know, we had to go through the process. The doctors had done every research they could do, and that seemed to be the best course of plan. So it happened. We said, all right. I said, if this is what will help me go home with our wife, let's go through it really.
Yeah. It was worsening.
It was worsening. There seemed to be no turning back,
Yeah.
and we had to try and get a solution, however difficult it would be. Yeah? So we navigated that. The procedure was successful. Went to check her back after theater. She was okay. Interestingly, the next day, because we had several instances of high fevers, after the amputation, interestingly, things started to slow down a little bit. I remember after about 2 or 3 days, we went to the general ward.
Okay.
Yeah, from ICU. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was quite a relief, both
Yeah.
physically and also financially, because wow,
Yeah.
ICU bills were something else also.
Yeah.
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 And God helping us navigate that space.
Yeah.
And finally, I receive a call. She's like, "Yeah, we've been given a discharge. We are going home." Yeah, which was very exciting for us. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we are discharged from hospital.
Yeah.
Of course, some bills to be cleared. We had to do a fundraiser, invited friends to support and family. And God helped us to navigate that season.
That bill we're
Which
talking
was,
about 300 shillings.
We're talking about close to 2.5 million. Yeah.
Wow.
And the gracious part, I mean, the good part was that the hospital was really gracious with us. They gave us treatment even when we had not placed a lot of money. And we had to do the settling later once we got home.
So they allowed you to go home with your wife? And
Yes,
settle
yes.
with
Of course,
the
we had to put a deposit before
Yeah.
we left the hospital, which was another journey of faith.
Yeah.
About almost half the amount, we had to do a deposit and then do an agreement on the remaining amount. Yeah. But God came through in miraculous ways.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Did you feel his support?
Oh yes. Oh my goodness. By the way, about my husband, I think I can write a book. If
Wow.
I'm to describe him, I think I can write a book. Yeah. So the support was immense, and I mean the commitment. The whole period that I was in hospital, he could come very early in the morning, and he would leave as late as 10 p.m. after I have fed and I have slept. That's when he would leave. One of the things that I'll never forget is that it was a tough season, but every morning Sam would come with earphones, and he would come with a playlist. Every day there's a song he would, but I think there are some songs we
Yeah,
listened to
it's a sign.
consistently.
Yes, 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 yes.
It was a repeat, but he had to do that, and he would pray. I didn't even have the energy to pray. My prayer was just tears. By the way, every time he would just pray, I would just cry the whole time.
Yeah.
And he did it the whole time, even when the confusion was there. I still remember he could put earphones in my ears, and he would play the song. He would listen to the song, and he would pray. I have never forgotten that. I mean, the kind of strength that God gave him. You know, having a wife in the ICU, having a baby who is less than a month at home, and he could still come to hospital every morning. I remember the nurses telling me, "Why, Jane, huyu bwana wako mlitoana naye wapi?" And then they kept telling me, "Wewe kama ulikuwa unafanya nini? Kama ulikuwa na serve Mungu, endelea. Kama huko umeanza, anza sasa." I mean, they could tell the miracle, especially now through that period. And I remember, I think by the second week, my file was really big because of the number of tests that had been done, and the lots and lots of medication. Yeah, the support was there, and it has continued to be there. I mean, our life changed, of course, after the amputation. And it's been 6 years, and the support has been there fully.
Okay. So when you were told what you're suffering from, the infection,
The sepsis,
yeah. Did you know about it earlier?
No. I didn't know about it. In fact, now what shocked me was now when the doctors broke the news that amputation would happen. You know, of course, all along I knew I was sick, but now even lying on that bed, things were not adding up. I'm like, I've just gotten a baby. What am I doing here? Why am I in the ICU? Why am I on oxygen? Because as he's saying, I was not unconscious. I could still see. I could still see what is happening. Although there was a bit of confusion, there are things I could say that were a bit off because the infection had also started tampering with my mind. Yeah, but now I think at this point, for a long time I was just hoping it's a dream because things were not adding up.
Yeah.
Then you know at that point when you're sick, they may not tell you everything. So what shocked me was when the counselor came and she broke the news that, by the way, Jane, do you know that you'll have to go through amputation? But I had gone through so much pain because, having gotten the baby through a normal delivery, I was induced. Then now my body is weak. I went through so many tests, the many injections. I had gone through so much pain until I was like, but I just told the counselor, if that is what is going to make me better, then just do it. And I remember that counselor coming with some video clips she wanted me to watch of a lady. I still remember a lady who had gone through amputation and she was taking care of her children. But I think at this point it still had not hit hard what that meant. Yeah. So when I told them it is okay, you just do it. If it's going to make me better, just do it. I think at that point I didn't know what amputation was.
Yeah.
It hit me now after I left hospital. Being in the environment of the hospital, I think I was just there, just taking it one day at a time, seeing things happen, doctors coming. I think at some point they also did a number of conferences with my family because they were also not sure whether I would survive because especially of the clot. Yeah, but a miracle happened. So I think now the readjustment now was after being discharged. That is now when it hit hard that, by the way, life had changed.
Yeah.
Because I go home in a bandage on my hand and a bandage on my leg. Then now I meet my baby, she is 1 month old, and I'm thinking, how will I take care of this baby? I mean, this is the time I need both my hands.
Yeah.
Then at this point, I thought that I'll never be in a position to do anything because I had never lived that life before. I mean, for the longest time, I had lived with both hands. Then, of course, I knew my toes had been amputated. So as a lady, you're thinking, so what happens to my sandals? No, I mean, there's all that.
Yeah.
What happens to my sweaters that are long-sleeved? I mean, there was quite a lot. How do I wash the baby? How do I dress her up? Then she's a girl. The things I had ever thought I'll keep doing her hair, those kind of things, I'm like, all these dreams, by the way, they're all shattered. You know, these are things I'll never do. Yeah, but I think some friends organized and a certain lady came to visit us. A lady who had also lost part of her hand when she was quite small. And when she came, I remember she did so many things in the house, and I was like, ah, yeah. So by the way, life will continue. So we went to the kitchen. She washed some kitchen towels. She washed the utensil. In fact, her hand was amputated slightly above the elbow, and she did all those things. She even mopped the house.
What?
Yeah, with a mop. So I was like, by the way, so life will have to continue. So she told me, the next time I'm coming, we're going to wash the baby. So I keep saying, God used that woman, because by the time she was coming for the next visit, I had already washed the window. I had already changed her. I mean, the mindset had now shifted, by the way.
You can do
And then I think having grown as a firstborn, I had grown up doing stuff. You know, the firstborns, we don't just sit.
Yes.
I mean, we are used to doing things.
Things have to be done.
And things have to be done. So I was thinking, how will I be sitting and then see things being done when I'm seated, you know? So by the time she was coming, I had done so much. Then, so that was actually quite transforming for me. God used her to actually help me know that I can still trust God for creativity to do things. And for sure, 6 years later, there is so much that I can do. I didn't ever think I would drive. Right now, my husband has to call me and tell me, by the way, you're driving too fast. Can you slow down, you know?
Oh, really?
You're driving too fast. You have to slow down. I mean, God
Ladies
has,
don't drive like that.
you know?
You need to be gentle with the car.
Yeah, but I can tell you the creativity God has given me. I mean, I'm back to class in a school setting. You know, I was used to just doing my part-time jobs, just interacting with one-on-one students. And now I'm in a school setting where I have to meet over 1,000 learners and do things as a normal teacher. And life has continued to just be fine. I mean, God has helped me. God has given me so much peace. Yeah, He has given me a new identity, because now I was like, now things has happened. My life has not come to an end. Life has to continue. And God, in His mercy, in His creativity, we are talking about 3 children now.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, so God has been so gracious and so kind to us.
Maybe before we go on from that, there's a story you were telling us about while in the ICU. Seeing, a while as if you're going.
Yes. I keep saying it was a near-death experience for me. And I keep feeling like I had transitioned in a way. In fact, in that space that I can't really tell, I feel like I went to a different world, which I could tell is not the ordinary. It's not like it's not Earth. I could tell even how time was moving. It was a very unique space. And in that space, whatever I had read in the Bible, I found myself saying it makes sense. Like I could tell whatever I have read in God's word was making sense, especially the issue of time. Time was not moving the same way. And I remember after being in that space, because it was not Earth, after some time I felt like now there was something, it was like a whirlwind kinda that now took me back. And now when I woke up, I found that I was in the hospital bed. Now that experience for me as a Christian, it keeps me going. It was a very tough season, but I can tell you, there is no other season I have experienced God so close like He did. I also got a vision of seeing an angel with a sword. Just lying on that ICU bed, I saw an angel just beside me, and the angel was sort of like assuring me that I am fighting this battle. And for sure, God did exactly that. Now, I had been a Christian before, but I can tell you, apart from reading God's word, I had never experienced a vision. But in my most difficult time, I experienced that first-hand experience.
Yeah.
I don't want to say it's like the one for Mary and the angel, but maybe. Yeah, because I can tell you, when I still remember that hospital bed, I saw an angel standing just next to me with a very big sword, and he was assuring me that I am fighting this battle for you. And of course, now that other experience of that other world, and it gives me the confidence to continue serving my master while here on earth, because I know that there is another place that we will transition to, that He's preparing for us.
Wow.
Yeah.
I think God needed to assure you that way, that
yeah.
He's fighting, otherwise you would maybe give up.
Yeah. And then also, I keep saying that having lived, of course, in my mother's house, before I met Sam, before I got married, I had lived a Christian life, mainly believing in the stories of the Bible, read the story, the miracles that we read in the Bible. But I feel like that experience in 2019 was the miracles we experienced were miracles I had never experienced before. Like I keep saying that God has been so present in my marriage life, than I had even experienced like before. You know, the aspect of provision. But then maybe just to mention is that at that point when the hospital declared that now it's time for us to discharge you, but you need to make a deposit of some money. We have a cousin who gave us some money. We have some friends who gave us 300, and I think we needed around 800,000. And I remember, because now at least I was okay, we could converse with Sam. I remember us coming up with a list, trying to come up with a list of friends who give us 50,000 to add up to 800,000. But the miracle was God used just a single couple to give us 800,000.
Wow.
A couple. And by the way, they were telling us they had never given such an amount of money. But God's voice was very clear. And by the way, to be specific, that couple told us out of the 800,000, you're only going to return 500,000. 300,000 is our contribution to the hospital bill. These are not our relatives, they were just our friends. No, that had never happened. I mean, I have never heard of this, not even your uncle or your dad, you know. And, you know, they were telling us, by the way, that even if the fundraiser would not have gotten that money, they had told themselves that they would not harass us to get that money. They would have sorted wherever they had taken the money from. They would have returned it on our behalf. I mean, it's something. And then, you know, like the way, like now for you and your husband, there are things you need to agree. At times they're back and forth. Today you've agreed on it, like, your pesa is poruti, you know. But they were telling us they were in agreement. It was so clear that God told them they need to intervene because I need to be back home to be with our baby. And for that couple, her daughter is very dear to them because they keep saying, even in terms of their faith, it was a moment to trust God because they had never been generous that much.
I imagine in 2019.
So actually, you know,
okay, even now,
even
but
now,
2019, you know.
And then 800,000. Actually, it's not 300. It's okay, of course 300,000. But even the 800,000, how do you just release it? You're talking about a fundraiser happening in a village in Karatina. How will they even get back that money, you know?
And they're okay.
So, by the way, Wendo's story and that couple, they feel like through Wendo, their faith also got to another level. Because, you know, it's an aspect of generosity. Which
and
as
even
Christians, trusting, you know. And because as Christians, you would think, you know, the way we give offerings and tithes, I mean, you're talking about giving money that you're hoping will be returned. And then how do you give 300,000? And you're not a politician, by the way. 300,000.
That means they took like maybe a loan or they committed.
Actually, that's what they did. They took a loan, and the loan was not for buying their car or buying their piece of land. It was paying for hospital bill of actually a stranger. Because we were just friends. They are just a couple we had worked for. So we can't say that it was like we were really
people that know you at home, you know, in case you don't return when you come for your
shamba.
And then I mean, there's so much we can share, but I think let me just share the other miracle was after the fundraiser, God came through.
Yeah.
Like we had friends from both our high schools, KU, we had served in the CU. I mean, people gave and gave, you know, until we had extra money to take care of the clinic.
Clinics, yeah.
But the other miracle I want to share, there's quite a lot we can share, but the other miracle I want to share is when we got the money and it was now time for us to deposit, to pay back our cousin, our other friend who had given us, and now this other couple. And Sam goes to the bank, and then the bank is like, his signature yako imechange. Simply because he had a lot of money in his account, which was not, they had never seen that.
Yeah. They were used to, you know, salary.
Just
now we're talking
manageable
about
amounts.
millions, manageable amounts. So they harassed him. Then I think at that point he had opened his account in Kitale. So they're like, well, labda urudi Kitale, your ile bank ulifungua for the branch, you know. So he took so much time there at the counter. They were like, so he even showed them the card. You know, we had a card that we were using to fundraise. So now they were like, sasa, hii kesi yako unless tupeleke kwa manager. So now he goes to the manager. Akamwambia tu ni sawa, twende tu kwa manager.
Yeah.
So he goes to the manager, he finds a certain lady seated there. So Sam, of course the lady asks Sam, how do I help you? So Sam explains, my wife has been sick and all that, they use the card. So like when he gave the story and the manager looked at him, the manager was like, I think I know this story.
Oh.
Now Sam has gone to a Coop bank at T-Mall. What amazes us is how did he think of going to T-Mall, and then we have so many other Coop banks in Nairobi, you know, in town. But this specific time, God led him to go to T-Mall. So now the lady, apparently, she was in KU many years ago. She's a KU, CU alumni. So she picks her phone and shows Sam, I actually have this card in my phone.
I'm in the group.
I'm in the group.
Wow.
So now the lady was like, Lisa, we are really sorry. We're really sorry
the
that you've been having harassment.
Wow, I wish that teller was there to see the transformation.
Know? So he was some coffee, and then he was like, just go.
Yeah, manager's office now.
Rudisha mate kwa sababu ya, you know.
Yeah.
Wow.
And he served you?
Yeah, really well. Actually, I didn't even queue so much. She told me, you just go. We'll send you the receipts and everything. Just go home.
Wow. So the signature is no longer
An issue.
No, I think there was, of course, just concerns. I think there were new rules around, I think if you are transferring over 1 million shillings, they had really to do a lot of background checks just to ensure that, you know, it's legit money.
But they needed just to say that.
Yes.
So you know, I mean, there was a fundraiser. I mean, although anyway, there's quite a lot happening.
I think
or maybe
you
because of
go.
maybe because of a lot of pressure. Maybe things have changed really.
You also needed to go and meet the manager.
The manager.
That was part of God's plan. That was part of God's plan.
Even that story of the bank. Let me tell you, like we have, I mean, little and big things we can identify from that season.
Yeah.
Actually, the issue of the manager is, I mean, the bank is also a miracle for us because we keep thinking there are so many Coop banks.
Yeah.
Even like, because I remember that time we were in Ruiru, you'd have to go to a Coop bank in Ruiru.
Yes.
There is one.
But God led him to go to T-Mall specifically. And he didn't even know there is someone, I mean the manager.
Of course.
Because he actually thought he'd be served at the teller.
Yeah.
But he goes and the situation is like, you have to meet the manager. Then the manager sorts him and in fact, I think she sent you the receipts later. I mean, she just told him to leave. And she did all that he needed to do and sent him the receipts. I mean, there's so many, the miracle of healing, the miracle of provision.
Yes.
Yeah, and looking back now is that this whole story, which was very difficult, and even the fingers, you know, I keep saying, God used the same hand to save my life because actually doctors tell us that most likely I would have collapsed in the house because pulmonary embolism, what it does, it causes like you can get a heart attack actually. It's either a heart attack or a cardiac arrest, one of them, and you just collapse.
It affects your heart.
Yeah, it affects your heart because the clot is usually somewhere near the heart and somewhere there. I think it's the heart and the lungs. There's a connection, right? Yeah. So the effect actually, the clot is not identified in good time. One just collapses. So God uses the hand, same hand that part of it that I lost, He uses those fingers to alert some and to just take me to hospital, you know. And well, of course, part of it was lost, but I keep saying it's the same thing that God used. Yeah. And now, 6 years later, this story has even caused our children to believe because now, I'm sure we are talking about parenting.
Yeah.
for our children, we don't struggle much to explain that God heals. Because now over time they've had to ask, why does our mommy have one hand? It has become an opportunity to actually evangelize. So even when like the other day we had a sick child in church whom we have prayed for around 31 weeks. This girl was in the ICU, and I can tell you, our children, both Wendo and Imani, every evening they prayed for that child. Every evening. So when that child got out of the ICU, which was in India, we had to sit them down and tell them, by the way, what's the name of that girl? Leslie. Leslie. Yes. Leslie, God has healed Leslie. She's now out of hospital. So they were so happy when they saw Leslie in church, because now when they came back from India, they got a chance, Leslie and her parents, to actually come to church and testify on the pulpit. And our children were so happy. So they actually know that. Like the other day, my daughter was asking, is anything hard for God? And I was telling her, no. So now we've had now to explain. And for them, the issue of God healing, it is something they know. In fact, if you hear them, because now we know we've had to meet other children, then they'll ask, well, your mommy has one hand. If you'd hear her explain, you'd think she was there.
I will ask her.
My mommy was sick, and God healed her.
Wow.
You know? Yeah. So the whole issue of, it was a tough time, but I can tell you this story, because we keep saying it's not our story, it's God's story. It has sort of like continued to bring back the glory to God, not even us. But that's why we keep saying, you know, like I remember there's so many times we would go to Sam to Uhuru Park to pray, especially before our wedding. And there's a hymn we used to love singing about how we would want God to use our marriage. We just didn't know how He would want to use it. It was a very dangerous prayer, and we were like, God, this is how you are to use, and in His own way He has continued to be glorified. And we keep saying, every time we share how we came out of that difficult season, because for sure I can tell you it was a difficult situation, is that when marriages, when we meet couples who are conflicting over socks and all that, and they get to hear our story, they're like, by the way,
socks what
are socks zikai? Kama hizo vitu Mungu amewasaidia, we're supposed to trust God. Anytime now I mean the healing stories we have had, how couples have been encouraged at how God took us, you know, how God delivered us clearly and granted us victory. Then we're like, that was beyond, I mean, that is what God wanted for our marriage. And if that was the reason, then now we are open. We no longer ask, personally I no longer ask why. Now we keep asking how God wants to use this story for His glory. Because ultimately the glory now goes back to Him. I'm sure even now as He watches us share, I remember there's a time when we share, like our very first interview, we were crying. We ended up, I mean, like tears would flow. But you know, right now we share it with so much confidence in God that it was not a mistake. God allowed it. In fact, we keep saying, even the nurses who didn't attend to me well, God had the power to make sure I met nurses who would do things the right way, but He still allowed it to happen.
Wow. Of course, I have heard this story over and over again, and today I feel like I'm hearing it for the first time. So, Sam, how was it for you when now you're bringing her home to meet her daughter? Like her daughter, who she hasn't seen clearly, because 1 week old you've not seen.
Not seen much. Well, mixed feelings. It's the joy of living in hospital, really. Done so many trips every day, taken leave from work. So we are happy, finally we are living in hospital, because living in hospital is not a guarantee first. So it was really a joy that we were living in hospital. But of course now the reality of there is a parenting story somehow that we have to continue with. Not very sure how she would adjust to the reality. Sort of when she was in the ICU, the thought about the child was not very present. But now we are getting better and better. So now she's fully aware of her surrounding, what is happening around her.
What has changed?
Adjusting is a big part. Realizing, well, you left the house thinking you are better. We felt we are going for 10 minutes, come back. We are coming back after a month. A lot has changed. And the journey started, you know. And I'm so grateful to God that he really helped us to adjust. First to accept, because you have to accept that this has happened, and trust God for the next season of life. After that.
Did you at any point, Jane, look at Wendo and think you are the cause of all this?
No. By the way, I have never. Oh my goodness. You meet Wendo, by the way, you can't even think there was a gap at any point. You know, like, of course, as a mother, you understand the how critical it is for that 1 month to be that newborn. And then, you know, our mothers really, you know, the bonding. And I hear she could cry a lot. Maybe in her own world, she could tell things were not right. It were not right. But, you know, by the way, Wendo is great. Even looking at our other children, she's just a unique, there's an aspect of a uniqueness. There's an aspect of even the presence of God in her that you can tell. I think I actually see that, I think that's why the enemy was really fighting. So for me, when I look at Wendo, for me, I feel I am reminded of how much God loves me, because this was a near-death experience. But God still gave me a chance. You know, we have so many cases of how women die after childbirth, and it's not that I was any special. So when I look at Wendo, I feel like, I mean, she's a miracle. I relate her life with mine in a way that for me, I just feel God's love and God's mercy. And every time when we near Wendo's birthday, for me it's not like any other day. In fact, I have more of a heaviness just to ponder on God's love that I even do during my birthday. Because I keep feeling that God gave me another chance to mother her. You know, God gave me another chance just to be with her, because it would have been a different story. So I can tell you with all honesty, I have never associated my daughter with the amputation. Of course, I feel it that one day she'll definitely get to know, because like I've had once, not once or twice, have I seen them, her and the brother looking at our wedding photos, or even photos, and saying, this picture mommy had both hands, and you can tell these children are really struggling. They are really curious, because they're like, at what point did mommy's hand cut? Though there are times I've had them saying, we need to beat that doctor who cut mommy's hand. You know, we have to explain. So I know at one point she'll definitely get to know what exactly happened. But I can tell you with all honesty, I have never associated, you know, like the way you feel bitter towards a child. No, I have never. By the way, for me, I always look at it as a miracle. She's my miracle child, by the way. Like, of course, even the others. But the fact that even the whole world had to know, the world around us had to know a child has been born. You know, for Imani, the people even who don't know that Imani was born, or even Neema. But for Wendo, I mean, our video had to circulate to even strangers who didn't know us. I mean, the fundraising card, that everyone had to pose, and actually here there's a woman somewhere who has gone through this amputation. Like the video we did, I think it captured us in hospital with a bandage. And you know, the vulnerability that came with it. So for me, it makes me want to really trust God, and even as we raise her, I feel there's something special about that girl. And that's why there was a lot that happened. And by God's grace, we pray that we will get to see, and we just continue supporting her. Because even the things that she does, by the way, I can tell you, she's not an ordinary child.
Wow. I would dwell there for the whole time. But now we have to move on. Okay, so at what point did you feel ready, or were you surprised with the news of conceiving your second born? Did you feel we are ready now? Let's try for another baby.
Being ready was debatable. I don't think we were ready. I think having gone through that tough welcome to parenting, there are several times we felt, we just raise this one.
No other baby.
But you know, God has different plans for us, and good plans for us. Interestingly, our second born and third born are not children we can really say that we sat and said, now, let us, at this date, we want to get another child.
Oh, wow.
These are children God has given us, by the way. Sometimes we think we are very crafty in ensuring that no child is coming.
And blocking
and
all
avenues. Yes, and you block all avenues. But then God says, when I say a child is coming, a child is coming.
Yeah. And children come from
And children
God,
come
really.
from God. I think that has been the biggest lesson. So God has been gracious enough. After when one was about turning 3, we realized that turning 2 actually, we realized that we are expecting our second born. Another exciting season of life, but again complicated because of the first experience we had gone through.
The trauma.
The trauma, the medical complication about it. So as we journey now with the second pregnancy, doctors, gynaes are very sensitive on us. They want to ensure that everything is to the details. So one of the things that our gynae had told us is that for the next pregnancy, God willing, we'll have to manage it differently. Because of the complicated nature around the birth of our firstborn, there are still so many dots that were difficult to connect, even medically. So the gynae tells us, when you conceive, we'll have to do blood thinners for the better part of the pregnancy.
Because of the fear of...
Yes, because of the fear of, we're not very certain whether the clot came during pregnancy or after. So we had to manage the second pregnancy differently. And the difficult part was doing daily injections. I think from about the second trimester thereabout.
You
Which
injected her?
Yes, I became
were
a
the
practicing doctor.
He was the doctor.
Wow.
So it was quite tough. They were also costly. I think in a month we spend almost close to 20,000 just on the injections. I think we reached a point and we said, hey, we are going to skip some days. I mean, I could really feel it for her. So we agreed every Sunday we are not going to do injections.
You rest.
Because we didn't tell the gynae about this.
Of course,
But navigating through that really, and of course the fears that, there's another child here. There's excitement, yes. The family is growing, but then we have this mountain of blood thinners to do, which God helped us to navigate that season. The pregnancy was smooth. I think just beside the blood thinners, the rest of the things went really well. So then we plan with the gynae, when are we coming, when is the expected date of delivery, we plan all that, and we go to hospital.
So Jane, were you super excited at the news of second pregnancy?
I was. Of course, having gone through the experience, I was still in the healing journey from the trauma. In fact, it was so bad because every time I would see a pregnant woman, I would get emotional. After now our firstborn. So now getting to realize that I'm now pregnant, I had so many fears. But again, the fact that God has helped us and has helped me that, but then after the experience, I struggled a bit praying, and even there are songs I couldn't sing, but I didn't mention that. But now by the time our son was being born, I had reconnected. I had now sort of like gotten to a certain level with God, and now I knew this is a miracle, and he's still at work, because whatever had happened did not stop him from working in our lives. So it was an opportunity for us to trust him. And for sure, I mean, God was so faithful, because I remember the date we agreed with the gynae, we actually went to church, came home, picked the bags, went to the hospital, was admitted, and by 5 a.m., my son had been born. Our son had been born by 5 a.m. I mean, the labor time was so short. It was so smooth. In fact, I feel like God just gave us money. Like for me, like when you sleep, you're pregnant, you wake up and the baby is here. That is how it felt with our second born. And actually that's why we called him Imani. It was a journey of faith. And I mean throughout from the time we got to know we are expecting and to the time of his birth, the daily injection, the 20,000 every month, God provided for the 6 months. He provided. And even there was actually, remember, even the doctors didn't want to discharge me because they want to be very sure that things are okay.
Run so many tests.
So I think I stayed in hospital for almost 4 or 5 days. Yes, it was a normal delivery, but it's because the doctor wanted to be very sure that things are okay. So it was a very smooth pregnancy, and our son was born, a very bubbly boy.
Who looks like
Yeah,
daddy.
who looks like daddy, yeah.
Definitely. Like father, like son.
Except for the bubbly part.
The bubbly part.
Yeah, it's the journeys of life. Yeah. That reduce the excitement sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Wow. When did you receive the news of a new baby?
She was happy, although she was still quite young, but the fact that now there was sort of like another baby, I don't think she fully understood, because she was 2.
Yeah.
And now when I look at our third born, I think I would give a different story, because now she's quite grown, she's a bit bigger. Yeah, but with the money, I think at the time she didn't really understand what that meant, although the adjustment was not difficult. Again, having journeyed with older couples and having done some parenting classes, we had actually been told that when you get a newborn and you have another child, you actually need to give attention to the bigger one. The small one may actually never know that they were ignored or whatever, but
once they are fed,
that's it. So at least we had that wisdom, and we actually practiced that. We gave Wendo more attention, so at no point did she feel left out, because you see now with a newborn, as long as they are fed and they are well taken care of, you can always delegate, but at least for when we give the emotional support and all that, and I think that has actually helped.
She's talked about parenting classes. How did you find them?
They were run by our church. We are big on getting trained, especially being teachers, so we value knowledge, and the Bible is clear that sometimes we may miss some mark here and there because we don't have that knowledge, and people actually perish.
Actually look for wisdom.
Yes, I think there are so many scriptures that talk about instruction and wisdom. So we felt, because we also want to do it right, in accordance with God's ways, appreciating that there are other parents, we were not the first parents, there are other parents who've gone through this journey before. And that really we can also learn something from them. So this was run by our church. It was a 10-week program, parenting class, which you had to attend almost 80% of the classes. For you to graduate. At least to graduate. But I think for me the bigger part was really getting to learn, and just immersing ourselves, having those conversations. We had weekly readings that we would read and discuss issues of discipline, issues of education, creating family memories, wonderful conversations, which I would really recommend every parent to just invest in it. Whether it's in a class or even reading books. I mean, now we're in information stage, but also getting information from the right sources, because again, there can be quite a lot of information out there. But you have to sift it also through the lens of scripture.
Okay. All right. So you parent the 2, and then again you realize it is time. We need a third one.
And as following the script of the second one, actually now, because we were like, we have a son, we have a daughter.
That's
it. Like it's a balance. It's a balance. No pressure really to try and balance the gender, because God has done it. And then my wife tells me, I'm just feeling funny. I'm like, what are you feeling really? Like, I can't explain, but I feel like I'm not alone.
So at that point, are you on a contraceptive?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Even with the man, you're on a contraceptive.
So you have a failed.
I have a failed. By the way, your contraceptive,
it doesn't work.
When you hear there is a 1%, we are the evidence of such 1%.
You're the
1% that But really for us, it's really God's leading.
Of course.
Because probably left on our own, maybe we would have stopped at maybe number 1. Okay, maybe number 2 there. But I mean, God works in amazing ways. I mean, we keep on laughing and saying, these children dodged contraceptive and said, I have to come.
They fought.
They fought.
We have to be here.
I have to be part of this family. So it's exciting. We've done the test and it's confirmed.
But we are expecting
that baby is on the way. I think the interesting part and really God's wisdom in this, even the spacing,
Even the spacing,
looks
God
so
just
ideal,
did it.
you know.
Yeah.
And interestingly, I think one of the conversations we actually had, even in our early years of marriage, was that we have always had a desire to get 3 children.
3 children, yeah.
By the time we are turning 10,
10.
by the time we are doing our 10th wedding
10.
anniversary.
Yeah.
Wow.
And see God, we are turning 10 next year, and 3 babies a year. Yeah.
God might even surprise you. And say
If
that
we-
was your wish.
We don't want to comment on
This
that.
is my desire.
But
Anyway.
we are really open to God's leading in this place. Yeah. Yeah. So very exciting season.
Yeah.
Last year, we had to journey through it.
Yeah.
But again, now remember, I think our fear again is going back to how we managed the second pregnancy.
Yeah.
Because now we are like, well, excitement, baby is coming and we are happy. But again, we are like, oh, there was a story about injections.
Yeah, blood thinners.
And now we seem to be very sensitive patients to doctors. Every time we go, they want to run all tests, which is really good. They want to just ascertain that everything is there. But really that heaviness, navigating, we are asking ourselves, finances also, and now children are in school, so budget keeps on.
Yeah.
As
It
they
doesn't
grow,
get
it
easier.
doesn't get easier. And we start having conversations with Jenny and we're asking ourselves, do we really want to manage this pregnancy the way we did the second one? What if we trusted God for a different story? Yeah, which was scary. So we continue doing the clinics with the gyna, having conversations. By God's grace, we've sort of maintained the same gyna, I think, for the last 5 or 6 years. And it's deliberate because at least we found it wise to work with someone who has our history.
Yes.
So that again we don't subject ourselves to so many tests, you know.
Yeah,
Because if you start with someone new, you have to keep on doing the
doing the
tests,
tests,
establish the
tests,
medical history.
Yeah. And scaring.
Yes,
Scaring them.
scaring them. They feel like they're walking on eggs.
These are very sensitive patients.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the doctor keeps on saying, "No, you guys, you remember there's something we did last time." We are like, "Okay, doc, we don't want to go to that discussion." Yeah. And you know the miracle of the third one is that by God's grace we trusted God and said, "We're not going to do those injections." Yeah.
Wow.
Of course, it was not easy convincing the gyna.
Yeah.
He's like, "You guys, you know,
You want to risk.
we want to risk.
Yeah.
Have you forgotten where you come from?"
Yeah.
And we were like, "Yes, there's a history, but we feel led otherwise this time around." Yeah. So we have conversation is like, okay, let's keep on monitoring this, which is something we really thank God for. We left the room and we were like, yay, thank God the gyna is not giving us pressure.
Yeah.
Or really God also convinced him to
Yeah.
to listen to our
To our
perspective, you
perspective.
know, because you know otherwise he would have said, hey, if you are choosing that part,
I'm not in it.
like Pontius Pilate, I want to wash my hands of this case.
Yeah. I will hand you over.
Yes, I'll hand you over to
Yeah.
someone else, or you guys are free to look for someone else.
Yeah.
So the fact that he graciously, sort of listened to us, and we kept on monitoring it. Of course, we agreed, watch out for this, danger signs, watch out for this. Yeah, so we kept on counting. This week is done, no injection. This week is done, no injection.
And no like danger signs.
Yes, no danger signs.
Yeah.
And imagine, that's how we conquered the 9 months by God's grace. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Without the blood thinners. Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, it was such a miracle.
And such a great relief for us, because that was the other fear. Like, if we were to ever get another child, this is the journey.
You have to
You
go
know,
through that journey.
it's a difficult journey. You have to inject her every day. Yeah.
That means then it wasn't there, the clot, like natural, like you didn't have it naturally.
Yeah,
Yes,
of course
prior.
that's why we keep saying we still go back to the negligence part. Yeah, but again, the fact that there are women who get clots
Also, even during pregnancy. Yeah.
Yeah, but so our story has been quite complicated. Like even if we try understanding it with human perspective, I mean your human mind, it becomes a bit complicated.
Yeah.
So now even with our third born, it can only be a miracle.
Yeah.
Because like I remember the other day we met a certain guy and he was like, no, you're daktari wewe ukakubali usifanye
Yeah.
blood thinners.
Yeah.
Akasema if I was the one, I wouldn't do
Oh,
that.
not have done it, yeah.
Yeah, but of course our guy now was happy that finally 9 months. I remember we
I think
agreed on the date.
he could also be working on
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
yes, yes,
No,
yes,
what he
yes.
did, he actually even would check on me just to, and he would even tell me like symptoms and signs to watch out for. Like he would literally, you could tell every time I go for a clinic, he's like, make sure in case of anything, just call. I'm just a call away, you know. You could tell it's because he wouldn't even want to imagine us getting back.
Yeah.
And now for us, we were like, oh, you allowed us to conceive a third child. We want to trust you, and for sure, we trusted God. Didn't spend money on blood thinners. And that's why we had to call our child Grace Neema.
Yeah.
Because the 9 months in her birth story was purely for
Journey of
Grace.
grace, yeah.
Wow. How was the forgiving part?
Wow.
Have you felt as if the hospital failed you, the nurses for the first hospital? Because of course it's not the same for the other children. And how has been forgiving? And have you also done some counseling therapy sessions?
Interestingly, we've not done any therapy sessions after the one we got in hospital. In fact, this far that we've come, God has just helped us. And then we've also had sessions, the two of us, especially those early years. We would just sit and sort of like debrief you know, debrief, and we would listen to each other. Actually, I would say we have been our own therapists, you know. Those times that I have triggers, I will tell him. At times I'm crying, because like now there are times when they would insist she doesn't want anyone to do her hair, she wants mommy to do it. Especially those times she didn't understand. But now it has changed. You'll find her saying, "Mommy, let me help you," you know. Like right now she understands. But now, you know, that time when she couldn't even probably even think that, she didn't understand what exactly was happening. I could have triggers. You know, those times I see those beautiful sandals and I'm like, I can't put on those sandals. Those are the times he will just listen to me as I vent, you know. But the forgiveness, we decided as a family, my family really wanted us to sue the hospital. At one, we felt that it would cause our healing journey to be a bit longer, because now, actually, we didn't even know the following year COVID would have happened. In fact, even now as we talk, we keep saying maybe even the other day there would still be in court, you know, paying a lawyer, it becomes the back and forth. So 6 years later, we would still be a very wounded couple. Still having the baggage, but you know, the fact that we actually agreed, let's forgive. Sorry, the hospital got to know. We don't know what measures they took on the nurses who are on duty. We gave them feedback. They're actually aware, and maybe action was taken, because I think one of the administrators was someone we knew.
And they actually came to visit.
They actually came to see us. So maybe action was taken by the hospital. We didn't even have a follow-up. But again, we as Christians, we also know that vengeance belongs to God. Because honestly, we felt that the nurses were not, they were not human. The fact that they didn't fully give attention. And of course the effect that came with it. And then we were like, why do we want to sue? The damage has already happened. Even if they would give us the money, it will not bring back my hand, it will not bring back my toes, you know, the damage had already happened. So we felt the forgiveness, it would have been an expensive thing to do, something difficult to do. There are those times I had to consistently pray to God and release the hospital, actually, you know, forgive the hospital, forgive the nurses. So nowadays when we pass by that area, I don't have a negative or a heavy heart. But it's God has made it easier, I would say. The moment I think we agreed, and I feel like he probably would have gone the court way, I feel like would still be
wounded.
Would still be very wounded, actually.
And also just to add on to what Jenna said, this was also a very complicated medical case. And having spoken to doctors, gynaes, there were still parts that were not connecting, because you see medically, and gynaes have told us this, that when a lady is expectant, you know, they are predisposed to getting clots, you know. So that's a fact, you know. So you're not very sure whether the clot came during pregnancy, you know.
And you had
and you could not point to it. And also secondly, because yes, there was a bit of medical negligence. We felt the nurses would have been more attentive to us around that time. But then there was the issue of, by the time we were being discharged from hospital, we were checked and everything was fine. Yeah? So this is a complication that happens while you are at home, you know. So again, it became difficult. You can't say now you're going to try the hospital, but because they were not at home really. So it was also a very complicated case. And we felt for us, I mean, we had really gone through a lot.
We didn't have the energy.
Even emotionally, we felt that was not the avenue we would really want to go through. But of course, as Christians, the challenge of forgiveness, really, you know, when we pray and say, forgive us as we forgive.
And then you remember, except.
You can't say except, you can't put clauses there. Really, so we felt God leading us to just surrender the issue to Him. And again, as Jenny is saying, we could see very many pointers of God's involvement in this story. Really, So, I mean, as Jane saying, we had several hospital options. Maybe God would have led us to another place. And maybe today we will not be here talking about this story. So God has a reason for everything.
It's true.
Yes. Whether we know it, whether it's painful or stressful as the journey was, I think that has been what we've learned so far.
Okay. Now let's go to parenting. How do you pass on godly values now to these children?
So one is actually even from their conception, like when we got to know that we have the children now, each of them from Wendo to Neema, we would pray for them. Even during when they were in the womb, we prayed for them, and I believe that is how we started the journey. And even before we had them, we could pray for our children. Even before we conceived them, you know, we prayed for that, and I believe that's where it all started. Then after they were conceived, we had to listen and to pray. What name do we give each and every child? So like with Wendo, she was our first child. So for us, it was a product of our love, being our first child. So we called her Wendo. Then with Imani, it was actually our children, we've named them according to the season, the seasons of our lives, and again how we want them to live out their lives. Like for Wendo, we have seen how she loves people around her, so she has started manifesting her life. And then for Imani, the whole aspect of trusting God. But there, Imani is, if we were to classify children in terms of his discipline, Nafanya to sweat. So I keep feeling that's why we call him Imani, because even how we are raising him, we are really trusting God to keep disciplining him and raising him in godliness. Then for Neema, it's grace. So when it comes even to the naming, it's also part of passing godliness. Then now when they go to that age where they understand, of course, since we got married, we usually pray together in the evening. We read books and share what we are learning from the books. So now when we introduced our children now into the picture, we have family devotions. Every evening is a season we were doing the New Testament books, and then we changed that. Now we usually look for books. Like now for this year we have a family devotion. We have a family devotion guide. So Sam reads for us every evening before we pray. Then on Sunday, because we go to church, in the evening we don't read. So we had now to explain. Our children kept asking, why are we not reading? So children thrive in consistency and routine. So in fact now we had to explain, because we went to church, the teacher taught you something, and even for us we learned something in church. So in the evening we just thank God and pray, because now they're expecting the evening that he also has to read, you know. So that has also helped them. Then in the evening they also don't want we listen to music, to Christian music. So our children also know so many worship songs, especially the songs that we like. They also know them, and I think that's part of it.
And of course, Sunday school. We thank God for the church community, a place where they can also bond with other children in class, share insights. Like yesterday, they were telling us what they learned in church, you know. And those conversations have also helped. Praying for them and doing life with them, you know. Sometimes you are driving, they are like, pass that person, he's too slow. So you have also to pass values on the go. So you tell them, hey, you have to be very keen. There is a corner. There is this continuous yellow line. You're not supposed to And you know the day you will try and overtake, they will tell you why you overtake. So they also become, a sort of protection for you. Just doing life with them, sometimes you go to the market, they can see, they can hear the way you are talking to the people, to the traders. So sometimes there are funny questions, why are you saying thank you? You have to tell them why, really,
Or sorry.
Sorry, yes. But we have also to model that by God's grace. Appreciate that, the school has also helped, we are grateful to God for a good school community where they get to learn godly values also. In fact, in their school, they do devotions every day. Yes.
Which was also an answered prayer
for us. Yes. So that has also helped us to pass the values and continue having conversations. Of course, the journey does not end. Still, it's a journey ahead. And we have to trust in God also.
And by God's grace, the concept of God to our children is not foreign. I mean, they their children you meet and probably in the issue of Sunday school and all that is foreign. But for them, they'll tell you, they can even tell you more about God. And I believe it's by God's grace we have tried to just model that.
Okay, so before even we finish, how do you now connect the two of you without the children? What measures do you take to make sure that the marriage is still firing, you are still relating well as a couple?
And by the way, comparing it at before children and now, you realize before it was very easy. I mean, you could go for dates, you could do things together, but right now, there are even times in the evening we are having a conversation with the children, they don't actually want us to have a conversation. They actually want to talk to the daddy or they want to talk to me, and they're like, wow, nowadays. Or maybe it's over the weekend, we want to just spend some time together, and they are the door knocking open, But
and they come in and then you ask, what do you want? Just to be here.
Exactly. So you realize,
so practical, my children.
Right now, you really have to strive to actually get that time. Because as we mentioned, having now a 5 months baby, we need to be there. So what we do, at times we sleep late. So when the kids, and at times our children are interesting. Like now over the holiday, they want to stay with us.
Until you switch off the light.
But at times we just take drives. We can just choose we want to go. We tell them we want to go and check something, and we don't have to go with them, which at times it requires a lot of convincing. But we've had to be very intentional. It's not been easy. We have really tried to look for that time. And at times we just go for a few hours and then come back. And even like not even how we are here, we've come
along the way, we come bonding.
But for sure it's not the same. You really have to be very intentional. Otherwise life can revolve around kuna daipa, kuna maziwa. You're just doing life. Hakuna stomach, utoke zimeisha, But we need to continue pursuing each other.
So it's not really easy. You have to be very deliberate because now there are more responsibilities. Dropping children to school, homeworks, a busy day at work. So what has also helped sometimes is, we've had to find fun activities, like sometimes there have been rollerblading in the Saturday mornings. That gives us some extra time when we don't have busy days, maybe or when we're not working on Saturdays. That helps. As Jane says, sometimes we deliberate and say, all right, let's have a longer night, especially we don't have an early morning. That has also helped us. We're also learning to try and bring them to our bed because we are realizing putting them away is not easy. So maybe we are going to family functions. We'll go sit, allow them to play with their cousins there while we are having our catch-up talk. Yes.
How has job been and parenting?
Well, seasons have changed. I think with our firstborn and secondborn, I was available. I was really at home. I was working from home actually. But towards Imani turning, I think towards him turning 2 years, I got now a full-time job. And the place where I work is a bit involving. And around that season, Sam changed jobs. Now for him, his job is very flexible. So I feel like our seasons sort of like changed because initially before he got that job, before I joined full-time, I was the one fully at home. I was not working on Saturdays, he was working on Saturdays. But now when we got these jobs, he doesn't work on Saturdays. So I feel like God sort of like switch the seasons, and somehow I feel like he has more time with them, because like now he drops them to school in the morning, he comes home with them. So it's been quite something. The balance at times has been hard for me, because at times I have to go very early. We have early classes, at times we have evening classes. But by God's grace, we've been trying to balance, especially over the weekend or those days that I leave work early. Now that time I get to spend more time with them. And also I'm grateful now. These way we so thank God for nannies, because we were able to come up with structures that can work in your home, not fully to delegate to your nanny, but where you give it training and they get it, and they help. That has really sort of like helped me, because even those times that I have to leave very early, I know that my children will be prepared and they will go to school, they will not get late for school. So we have sort of like tried to fit in and to fill those gaps that probably when I'm not there, Sam is actually there.
And of course being present is key around children. As Jane says, we've worked around it so that we can balance, we are very keen on ensuring that at least, even when we are very busy career-wise, at least there's one of us who is present. And as Jane says, seasons keep on changing. There was a time when she was available at home. Now I'm finding myself home earlier. At least I'm able to do some work at home. That has also helped to ensure that I'm home early, we can do homework, ensure the kids have showered, taken dinner early. And I mean complementing each other really. When the scripture says two are better than one, I think that's where we get it.
Parenting is for the both of them.
Yes.
In fact, Sam has been an amazing and unique dad. I mean, he can even shower the 3 babies.
Wow.
He doesn't have to wait for the nanny or wait for me to come from work. I mean, he does it from his heart. And I think also having grown, he doesn't have a sister. I think maybe looking back at his upbringing,
very deliberate.
He grew with the boys.
Boys, I'm a family of boys. An elder brother and a younger brother. So my parents were very deliberate on practical training.
House chores are not.
House chores, I mean, were not the story of. So I don't struggle much at the house chores. Even when we give the nanny a leave, we're fine.
We're fine, just the two of us. Maybe like last week she was away for almost 5 days. And I mean,
we'll navigate. Life
navigated the chores. And we were
I think for me that really helped. It's not, I don't look at it from a gender perspective. For me, it's, I mean, we can't stay in a house and the dishes are dirty. Children have played out there. I have to wait. Really? No, just take up responsibility. And interestingly, that has given me a nice time bonding with the children. In fact, even when we are home, they insist, I want to shower me open.
Baby insists they want their daddy.
It is good, we bond, and I think it's so part of as we sharing values with the children also.
As we come to an end, I really appreciate Sam and Jane for coming and gracing our show today. I really love your story, your parenting story, very unique, and we've learned a lot, very educational, and I'm sure that my viewer has also learned a lot. Let me know in the comment section. But before we finish this, let me hear their parting shots, what you can tell other parents out there. And just anything.
Great. Thank you so much, Frida, for having us. I salute you for this assignment, and I pray for more grace to you. I know there are so many parents out there who benefit from this show. So may the Lord give you the grace, all the wisdom, and all that you need for this show, and may He grow it all for His glory. So for our viewers, it's been exciting just sitting here and just sharing. My parting shot is just a reminder: children are a gift from God. They are a reward, and therefore for us as parents, we just need to be good stewards. One of the legacy I want to leave for my children is that I want them to just know God, to just know God, and the aspect of passing on godliness. That we know the fact that they are behind us, that they will also pass it on to their children. I also want my children to grow loving people, the whole aspect of love. And basically by God's grace, let's keep trusting God to give us the wisdom, because with the times that we're living, it's not easy. Every time I think about the 3 lives that God has given us to take care of, it gives me, it's a wake-up call. I keep feeling it's an assignment, and we can only rely on God to raise those children and bring them in the ways that we trust that they will not depart. We can only instill all these values and godliness in their lives. So more grace to you who is listening to us, you who is trusting God for a child. God is faithful, he can be trusted. Keep waiting, keep praying, and a miracle will happen. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Jen. Sam?
Great, yeah. So we are really grateful to you, Frida. Thanks for having us in the show today. As I finish, the teacher in me tells me to say 3 things. ABC. Yeah?
And
ABC.
the fourth that will shock you.
Yeah. I think as my wife says, one is that it's really good, and we recommend this to every parent, strive to be available. That's the A for us. You may not feel like you're giving a lot of impact, but try your best to be available at home, around your children's life, whether they are doing school activities, whether it's church, be available with them. But also that A reminds us that we have help that is available. Yeah? That we are not doing this parenting journey alone. God is on our side. You know, these children come from God. Yeah. So we are actually stewards. They are not really ours. Yeah. So we need to always remember that. But also B, we are saying be consistent. Yeah. Be consistent in what you are doing, in the trainings you are giving. Yeah. Whether it's in discipline, also be consistent. Yeah. If you say, if there is no screen time beyond this time, be consistent. Don't say, this is your birthday week, we are going to, be consistent. Children really also thrive in terms of routines. And the last one is C. Yeah. And for C, we are saying that let's continue nurturing the capabilities of these children. You know, whichever way God does, you know, children will be different. Let's strive and trust God to see what is it that God has put in this child, and trust God to bring it out, to support them, and to see them thrive, to become the children that God has created them to be. Of course, remember to invest in parenting. It's good to read. You get to get different conversations. Listening to shows like this one by Frida, really helps, you know. I'm sure, I mean, we'll also continue listening and hearing, because this conversation does not end. I think that would be my participation.
Wow. Yes. Thank you so much once again for coming and for sharing your insights. Really, we have learned a lot, and I know many people, many parents out there are learning. My takeaway from this conversation, really, children come from God. Like, we don't have, you have plans, yes, but if God says it's today, it's today. And if he says no, then it's no. Really, let's keep trusting in God. You who doesn't have a child yet, enjoy the season. Enjoy the season. And when babies come, still enjoy the season. When they grow and leave your house, enjoy the season. So let's enjoy this season of parenting. Also knowing that children come from God. We are just stewards. He will guide us on how to parent them. He is the one who has the manual for each of our children. So he will guide us, he will help us. Keep relying on God. And I feel like saying that if you're not born again, really, please have a relationship with God. It's the only perfect way for us to learn from God on how to parent these children. It will be easier. God will help us. So once again, Jen and Sam, thank you so much. The Mutuas, I really appreciate your presence and for sharing your story so openly, and people have learned a lot. So to our viewers, please subscribe to this channel if you've not done so, and let me know in the comment section what your takeaway has been. For now, it's a bye.